Have you ever set a goal for yourself, something that truly matters, only to find yourself sabotaging it in ways you can't fully explain? Maybe you procrastinate, avoid the necessary steps, or make decisions that actively work against your own success. You might even recognize this pattern and feel frustrated, asking yourself, why do I keep doing this? Why can't I just follow through? According to Carl Jung, the phenomenon of self-sabotage is not simply laziness, lack of discipline, or poor time management. It is a reflection of unresolved elements within the unconscious mind. Jung believed that our psyche is composed of layers, including both conscious awareness and a vast unconscious containing complexes, shadow material, and hidden desires. These unconscious elements hold emotional patterns that have been repeated and reinforced over time, often originating in childhood experiences. They influence your behavior without you realizing it. The moment you attempt to pursue a meaningful goal, these unconscious forces can create resistance, doubt, or fear, and this is often what we perceive as self-sabotage. Jung would say that when you feel an inner pull to avoid success or undermine your own efforts, it is not random. It is your psyche signaling that there is something within you that has not been fully integrated or understood. These unresolved patterns can take many forms. Perhaps you fear failure because you internalized critical voices as a child. Perhaps you fear success because achieving your goal might trigger jealousy or judgment from those around you. Perhaps you are unconsciously repeating patterns of self-denial, overworking, or hiding your true potential. The key insight from Jung is that self-sabotage is rarely conscious. It arises from emotional complexes that have been structured in response to past experiences. These complexes seek expression or resolution, and in doing so, they often interfere with your conscious intentions. Understanding this dynamic is the first step toward breaking the cycle. The second step is identifying the shadow elements involved. Jung's concept of the shadow refers to the parts of ourselves that we deny, reject, or hide, often traits that we consider negative or socially unacceptable. The shadow can include fear, anger, envy, doubt, or even untapped potential. When you set a goal, the shadow may resist because it perceives change as threatening. It may fear that achieving success will expose vulnerabilities, demand responsibility, or force confrontation with aspects of yourself you have avoided. This resistance is not a flaw. It is a signal. It is the unconscious saying, there is material here that needs to be recognized before you can proceed freely. Self-sabotage is often the shadow's way of protecting you from inner conflict. To overcome it, you must first acknowledge it. You must bring these unconscious elements into conscious awareness. Ask yourself, what part of me is resisting this goal and why? What emotions or fears are hidden behind my hesitation? Reflection alone is not enough. Jung emphasized the importance of active engagement with the unconscious. This can take the form of journaling, introspection, guided imagination, therapy, or even confronting repetitive behavioral patterns directly. By observing the self-sabotage without judgment, you start to understand the patterns driving it. You begin to see that procrastination, doubt, and fear are not failures. They are messages. They are the psyche asking for integration, understanding, and acknowledgement. Once these patterns are recognized, you can begin to redirect the energy. Instead of reacting unconsciously, you act with awareness. You make deliberate choices that align with your authentic intentions rather than the dictates of unresolved complexes. Achieving this requires patience. Integration is a gradual process. The unconscious does not surrender its influence immediately. You may notice old patterns arising repeatedly, but each time you observe them consciously, you weaken their automatic control. Over time, what once felt like self-sabotage transforms into insight, resilience, and self-mastery. Another key element Jung emphasized is the connection between meaning and motivation. Goals that are purely external or superficial may trigger more resistance because they do not resonate with the deeper self. To overcome self-sabotage, it is essential to align your objectives with your authentic values and inner purpose. When your conscious goals are in harmony with the unconscious, the shadow's resistance decreases, and you can move forward with clarity and energy. Modern life makes this process more challenging. Constant comparison, social pressures, and distractions amplify the voice of doubt and fear. Yet Jung's teachings remind us that the source of self-sabotage is internal, not external. Awareness and integration are the antidotes. By observing your own patterns, recognizing your shadow, and aligning your goals with authentic self-understanding, you create the conditions for lasting success. You stop repeating cycles of avoidance and resistance. You learn to act despite fear, uncertainty, or discomfort. And this is not just about achieving external goals. It is about achieving psychological freedom, the ability to pursue life intentionally rather than reactively. Imagine setting a goal and feeling the familiar pull of resistance. Instead of panicking, you pause and ask, what is this trying to tell me? Which part of me is hiding? Which part is afraid? By turning awareness inward, you convert anxiety into insight. You convert hesitation into action. You convert self-sabotage into conscious strategy. Jung taught that growth occurs at the boundary between the conscious and unconscious, where the unknown parts of ourselves reside. Every time you confront self-sabotage with curiosity and courage, you expand that boundary. You integrate what was hidden. You become more whole. And as you continue this process, the goals you once sabotaged no longer feel threatening. They become natural expressions of the person you are becoming. Success is no longer a battle against yourself, but a journey aligned with your deepest self. And that, ultimately, is how Jung would guide you to stop self-sabotage. Recognize the unconscious patterns, engage with the shadow, align your intentions with authentic purpose, and act with conscious awareness. The obstacles were never truly external, they were inside you all along. By integrating them, you unlock the power to finally achieve what you have always desired, not through force or willpower, but through understanding, presence, and self-knowledge.